Billionaire CEO pretends to be a homeless man in Pop the Balloon Love Hunt game show and instantly got rejected for his looks. Welcome back to my channel. What country are you watching from? Tell us in the comment section. Holy shit, oh my gosh. You don't come close to me. You smell like wet socks and failure, the girl spat, brushing his hand away with disgust. That was girl number 3. He had been rejected 4 times already. All because they thought he was just some broke, stinky homeless man. But what they didn't know was that the man under those ragged clothes was actually Jason Steele, the 35-year-old billionaire tech mogul behind the world's most powerful social app. Tired of fake love, he joined the viral game show Love Hunt, Pop the Balloon edition in disguise, to see if any woman could fall for him without the fame, the fortune, or the followers. Perfect. Let's begin. Jason Steele, billionaire, 35, tech mogul, Forbes cover boy, stood there in the middle of the set, dressed like a dirty, forgotten soul. Ragged hoodie, torn jeans, a pair of beat-up Crocs 2 sizes too small. A fake scar ran across his cheek. His beard, wild and crusted with artificial dirt. He even added an old ketchup packet under his shirt to fake a chest wound. The producers called this season of Love Hunt the Pop the Balloon edition. But Jason had other plans. Instead of popping a balloon to choose his partner, he wanted to pop illusions. Find real love in a world gone plastic. So he pitched them a twist. He'd pretend to be a broke, homeless man. One by one, 6 women would meet him. He couldn't reveal who he really was until the final girl made her decision. If anyone stayed, he'd reveal the truth. If they all walked, well, he'd go back to being rich and alone. Now here he was, already one down. Her name was Tiffany. She didn't even let him speak. Just saw the outfit, scrunched up her nose like she stepped in emotional damage, then walked away, heels clicking like a judge's gavel. Final verdict, guilty of being broke. Jason let out a small laugh. All right, one down. Let's meet number 2. Lady number 2, Jade, the crypto queen. Jade walked in like she owned Bitcoin itself. Crop top, sunglasses indoors, phone in hand, constantly swiping. She looked Jason up and down once. Okay, but where's your wallet? Jason blinked. What? I mean like your MetaMask. Or your NFT keys. You can't even afford a cold wallet. Jason hesitated, staying in character. I don't really have a phone. She gasped. Girl, I can't build generational wealth with a dude who don't even have 4G. She turned, took a selfie with him in the background, then added a filter that made her lips 3 times bigger. Caption: Poverty tried to talk to me today. I declined. Gone. Lady number 3, Brianna, and P-OnlyFans star. Brianna wasn't rude at first. She actually let Jason speak for 3 whole seconds. I know I look rough right now, he said softly, but I promise I have a good heart. She smiled sweetly, then pulled out a $5 bill and held it out like a wet tissue. Sweetie, you look like you lost your way and your will to live. Take this. Get a sandwich. Jason didn't move. She rolled her eyes, flicked the bill at his chest, and turned around, shouting over her shoulder. And don't follow me. I got Mace and a manager. Gone. Lady number 4, Lexi, a podcaster. Lexi wore a giant floppy hat and carried a journal labeled Manifestation Journal, Volume 6. She walked in, studied him like a ghost, then said, Your aura's chaotic. Jason nodded. I've had a hard life. Yeah, no. I can't align my chakra with broke vibes. She waved a sage stick around him like she was swatting flies, then pulled out a rose quartz crystal and whispered something into it, then left. Lady number 5, Kylie, fashion TikToker. Kylie was young, loud, and proud. She saw Jason and burst out laughing. Is this Fear Factor? Where the prank cameras at? Jason stayed calm. I'm actually looking for someone with a good heart. Kylie pulled her phone out, hit record. Y'all, this man tried to flirt with me in Dollar Tree drip. Tell me I'm not dreaming. Jason kept his composure. You think you're better than me because I don't have money? She tilted her head. Better than you? Baby, I'm in designer socks right now. And you in sadness. She giggled, spun around, and did a TikTok dance as the crew snickered behind the scenes. Jason was left standing alone again. Behind the curtain, the producers were eating it up. "This is pure gold," whispered Marcy, the lead showrunner. "Reality TV is back, baby." But Jason wasn't laughing. He sat down on a plastic chair, hands in his lap, fake dirt flaking off his fingers. 5 girls. 5 rejections. And not one of them even asked his name. He stared at the floor for a while, then looked up at a monitor showing his own face, disguised and defeated. Why am I doing this again? He thought about his mansion, his Bugatti, his stock portfolio. None of it ever filled the hole where love was supposed to live. He wiped his eyes, then stood. "All right," he whispered. "Bring me number 6. The last one, Maya." She walked in with no heels, no phone, no makeup. Just jeans, a hoodie, and a quiet smile. Jason stood up, ready to be rejected one last time. But she didn't flinch. In fact, she stepped closer. "You okay?" she asked gently. Jason blinked. Yeah, just rough day." She looked him in the eyes. "You want half my sandwich?" Jason didn't know what to say. She tore it in half and handed it over. It was peanut butter and jelly. He took it like it was gold. "I'm Maya," she said. "Nice to meet you, Maya," he replied softly. I'm just a guy trying to find someone real." She smiled again. "Well, you found someone hungry and unemployed. That's kinda real." They both laughed. Later that evening, in the dark corner of the set, Jason sat beside Maya under a flickering studio light. They talked about small things. Childhood, favorite movies, sandwiches. She didn't ask for his Instagram. She didn't ask what he did. She only asked what he loved. And for the first time in years, Jason felt like someone saw him, not his wallet. Just him. The producers watched in silence. The crew stopped laughing. This girl was different. Jason leaned back, looked at the ceiling, and whispered to himself. Maybe this crazy idea wasn't so crazy after all. It was the morning after the rejections. Jason still wore the same dirty hoodie. The fake grime on his face had started to itch. But he refused to break character. Not yet. He walked toward the empty park bench just outside the set, where Maya sat cradling a warm paper cup of tea the producers gave her. She didn't ask for makeup. Didn't ask for retakes. She just showed up, like she always did. Jason sat beside her slowly, careful not to spook the moment. Maya glanced at him, smiling. "Didn't expect you to stay," she said softly. "Didn't expect you to offer me a sandwich," he replied. She chuckled. "PB&J solves more problems than therapy sometimes." Jason nodded, then asked gently, "Can I ask you something personal?" Maya didn't blink. "Sure. Why were you so kind to someone who looked, well, like this?" She sipped her tea and looked ahead. "Because I was you. Or at least close. 3 years ago, I was on the street. Lost my apartment. Lost my job. Lost everything but my heartbeat." Jason's eyes softened. "What changed?" "I stopped waiting for people to save me. I found shelters. I cleaned up. Got a library card. Started freelancing online. Took odd jobs. I'm not rich, but I've learned to see past dirt." Silence hung heavy between them. Jason studied her, no longer as a contestant, but as a human being with hidden scars. Scars he recognized in himself. "You're not like the others," he whispered. "I figured that when the 4th girl screamed because you didn't have Yeezys," she smirked. They both laughed. But Maya paused, serious now. "Why are you really here? I mean, what's your deal? You clearly don't belong on this show." Jason froze. This was the moment, reveal it all, or keep playing the act. So he took a breath and told the truth. "I'm not homeless," he said, voice quiet. "And I'm not poor." Maya blinked. "I figured," she said calmly. "Your posture gives you away. Broke people don't sit like that. That's stock portfolio back pain posture." Jason laughed, surprised. "You knew. Suspected. Didn't matter." Jason turned to face her. "I'm Jason Steele." Maya's eyes widened. "The Jason Steele?" He nodded. "The billionaire? The Jasonverse guy? The one who owns that space hotel company. He nodded again. Maya just leaned back and let out a low whistle. Damn. You mad? Nope. But now I do want my sandwich back. Jason cracked up. For the first time in months, it was real laughter. Deep. Unfiltered. Healing. Inside the control room, producers watched everything unfold. Is he telling her? Marcy asked, leaning forward. He's telling her, the assistant whispered. Marcy grinned. This is television history. Jason looked down, suddenly vulnerable. I tried this whole thing because I couldn't trust people anymore. They all just want the money, the clout. I needed to know if someone would care, even when I had nothing. Maya looked at him for a long time, then nodded slowly. Well, I cared. Jason looked up. Why? Because I don't need you to be somebody, she said. I just need you to be honest. And with that he knew. She was the one. You still want to hang out with a billionaire in disguise? Jason asked as he opened the back door of the blacked-out SUV parked outside the studio lot. Maya hesitated at first. This is weird, she said honestly, peering into the sleek, high-tech interior. Yesterday, you were asking me for $1. Today, you're offering me a ride that looks like it costs more than my life. Jason smiled but stayed silent. He knew this part would be hard for her. She got in anyway. The door shut softly behind her. The driver nodded to Jason and pulled away from the lot, heading toward downtown Los Angeles, where Jason's real world waited. One of penthouse floors, private elevators, and more money than anyone could reasonably spend in 3 lifetimes. The car glided to a smooth stop in an underground garage. They stepped into a private elevator where Jason used a thumbprint to access the 89th floor. Maya glanced at him. That's the kind of elevator that leads to space. Jason laughed. It kind of does. I have a launch pad investment in New Mexico. She shook her head. I was joking. I wasn't. The elevator opened to reveal a sprawling glass penthouse with a panoramic view of the city skyline. Maya blinked. Okay, this is not real. It's real. She slowly stepped out, her footsteps echoing on polished floors. You live here? Sometimes, Jason replied, placing his keys on a marble counter. Depends what part of the world I'm avoiding. Maya walked to the edge of the floor-to-ceiling windows. The city glittered like a galaxy at her feet. She turned to face him. So what now? Jason took a breath. Now I show you everything. He opened a large wooden door revealing a hidden room, walls covered in photographs and newspaper clippings. Some of the photos showed Jason in charity work, others with world leaders, and a few much older. Ones of him as a skinny, frightened boy standing in front of an orphanage. Maya stepped in. You were in the system? Jason nodded. Group homes. Foster care. I used to wear shoes from donation bins. Got my first job coding at a library. No one saw me then either. I built my fortune because I never wanted to feel invisible again. She was quiet for a while. Finally, she said, so all this. It's my shield, he admitted. Money keeps people away. Or too close. Never in between. And that's what you were looking for with the disguise, she asked. Jason nodded. She walked slowly, her finger grazing over a photo of young Jason, his eyes full of quiet defiance. Then she turned to him. You really think one day in a hoodie tells you who someone is? No, he said. But your kindness did. He took her to his private kitchen where his chef had already prepared a meal, rosemary chicken, grilled vegetables, and wine. Maya blinked. I can't eat this. I'm in thrift store boots. Jason pulled out a chair for her. Then it'll be the best-dressed meal those boots have ever seen. She laughed and sat down. For a while they talked about small things, books, movies, embarrassing school stories. Jason watched her more than he listened. She was so grounded, so real. And for the first time, he felt like maybe there was a bridge between his world and the one he left behind. Then Maya asked something unexpected. What happens now? Am I your project? The girl who passed the test. Jason's face fell. No, he said quickly. God, no. Maya, I don't want to turn your story into a prize. But that's how this ends, right? She said. You pick the humble girl. Producers wrap it into a headline. Billionaire chooses kindness. And I fade into some article on a tabloid app. Jason stood, his heart racing. That's not what I want, he said. I want you. Without the show. Without the cameras. Without the script. Maya stood too, facing him. Then prove it. She turned and walked to the elevator. Jason froze. Where are you going? I need time, she said gently. Because this whole thing, it's a lot. I'll wait, he said, his voice soft. She smiled. I think you already have. The elevator doors closed. Jason stood alone in his penthouse, feeling something he hadn't felt in years. Hope.